The film Avengers: Infinity War hits theaters tonight, and you can rest assured that fans of the Marvel Universe will be lining up to see another blockbuster. They have been waiting 10 years to see the intergalactic confrontation between supervillain Thanos and the Avengers, and it should be an entertaining ride. On Saturday at the Oracle, NBA fans will buckle up for an exciting ride of their own, a galactic battle between the Golden State Warriors and the New Orleans Pelicans in Round 2 of the NBA playoffs. Chris, Biggie, and I share our thoughts about this second-round series below. Chris sets the table for us. Chris, Round 2 against the Pelicans is likely to be played under vastly different planetary, or even galactic, forces from Round 1 against the Spurs. Against the Spurs, the W's had one primary individual scorer to contend with. Against the Pelicans, they'll have three, and each different and complementary to the other two. The Spurs' locked-in and generationally schooled defensive schemes will be gone. But in its place is a group of younger, relatively newly gathered together players who aren't just peaking at the right time, but who also are brimming with justifiably earned new confidence. The Pelicans aren't overconfident, though. They're quietly confident, and if they don't yet think their time has come, they think it might be coming. And so what are likely to be some of the key new features of this key new series? One of the things that immediately jumps out is what a different, even unique challenge Anthony Davis and Mirotic present as a tandem up front. They're both mobile and spread the floor, opening up driving angles for guys like Holiday and Rondo. The Spurs, with Manu and Tony Parker being older, weren't conspicuous threats to slash to the rim. And except in Game 4, the Spurs didn't shoot the three-ball well enough to prevent the W's from helping on drives and digging down on Aldridge in the post. Jrue, Holiday, Rondo, and AD, on the other hand, can all blast by defenders off the dribble. The matchups in this series, apart from the exciting two-way matchup of Klay, Holiday, will often be oblique. Mirotic and Draymond are very different players, but Mirotic will keep Draymond, or anyone else guarding him, honest. And there will be a high price to pay for cheating off Mirotic to help on AD or to help on dribble penetration. KD and AD are very different players, too. But in Anthony Davis, the Pelicans have their own centerpiece who in his own way is just as unanswerable as KD. In other words, this is a series that will put exacting pressure on the W's center's ability to a. chase Mirotic especially, but AD, too, out to the 3PT line, while b. also being able to rotate back and side to side to help jam up the Pelicans' dribble penetration. That's a tough order. I expect, if anything, to see even more of Looney. And more of KD and Draymond playing 4/5 together. And maybe even a couple tryout looks with Jordan Bell. In addition to intriguing matchups and oblique cross-matches, another important element in the series will be depth. The advertised weakness of the current Pelicans team is lack of depth. Gentry went 8 deep in the first round against Portland. But what wasn't much noticed at the end of the W's Spurs series was that Kerr also marginally shrunk his own rotation, too. With Cook looking vulnerable defensively, his minutes shrank in Games 4 and 5, and in turn Young was generally unproductive in late second-half stints as Young's stand-in then. We know the answer to the question of who is missing from the W's backcourt rotation. But right now we don't know when he'll return. I'm not of the persuasion who believes that the W's can't beat the Pelicans without Steph. Yes, of course it would be harder without him. But with or without Steph, in any particular game, the W's will need to play well to beat the Pelicans. It's not impossible that this playoff round evolves into too many series for the W's. A couple of games in which the W's hope to hold, or even gain, ground without Steph. And then games in which the W's look to Steph's return to propel them to close out the series overall. Either way, Game 1 of this series is going to be even more unusually important than Game 1s in a series already typically are. Biggie, if the Warriors watched the New Orleans-Portland series, they know that the Pelicans are scaldingly hot right now. We knew that Anthony Davis would be a monster, particularly given his large sample size demolition of the NBA after Boogie Cousins got injured. What no one really expected was for Jrue Holiday to turn into the league's best two-way combo guard, for playoff Rondo to re-emerge, and for Nikola Mirotic to turn into the second coming of Dirk. The matchups here are intriguing, with likely Klay on Jrue and Draymond, KD on some permutation of Mirotic and Davis. This leaves Iguodala or Cook on Rondo, and an interesting matchup for any traditional center against whoever Alvin Gentry trots out, likely Etuan Moore. There are options here. The Warriors could elect to downsize and play without a true center, or they could double down on their height advantage and throw JaVale McGee out there to catch lobs over Emeka Okafor, who is somehow still in the league. There are a number of knobs that can be twiddled with and a great deal of uncertainty, particularly given the fact that Stephen Curry is due to return at some point in the not-too-distant future. Watching the Warriors, whose focus has been sporadic this season, take on a team that absolutely torched the. That being said, I think the Pelicans were somewhat of a nightmare matchup for the Blazers, and the fact that neither Damian Lillard nor C.J. McCollum were able to solve the high press employed by the Pelicans foretold their doom. That same strategy won't work against the Warriors, at least until Stephen Curry returns, because no one in the backcourt will be the primary ball handler. Blitzing Draymond Green doesn't have nearly the same impact as blitzing Lillard or McCollum. In lieu of that strategy, I'm sure the Pelicans have something cooked up to destabilize the Warriors, and it will be on the Dubs to adjust. In turn, the Warriors will have to find a way to prevent easy looks from Mirotic and Holiday while also defending against the threat of AD down low and dribble penetration from Rondo and Holiday. Lots of intriguing stuff going on. May the Dubs emerge victorious. Robert, the Pelicans are gelling at the right time. There might be a perception that, like the Philadelphia 76ers, the Pelicans are young bloods with swagger, but that is not the reality. These Pelicans are an experienced squad, and two of their best, Davis and Holiday, were on the team that was swept by the Warriors in the first round of the NBA playoffs in 2015. But even though it was a sweep, each game in that series was tightly contested. With Rondo added to the mix, and he has been playing with the savvy and grit that he showed in his championship days in Boston, this edition of the Pelicans is much more dangerous. Mirotic replaces Ryan Anderson in those lineups. But the Pelicans have lost Eric Gordon and Tyreke Evans, and the Warriors have gained Kevin Durant. Back in 2015, the Warriors had too much firepower and were better defensively than the Pelicans. Anthony Davis was the Pelicans' alpha and omega in that series. The Warriors and Andrew Bogut could do nothing to contain him. Jrue Holiday was coming off injury, so he played a very small role in that series. Eric Gordon was the Pelicans' second leading scorer. On the Warriors' end, the Splash Brothers carried the scoring load. The numbers tell the tale. Game 1 to 106-99 Anthony Davis 35 PTS, 7 boards, Eric Gordon 16 PTS, Steph Curry 34 PTS, Klay Thompson 21 PTS. Game 2 to 97-87 AD, 26 PTS, 11 boards, Gordon, 23 PTS, Curry 22 PTS, 6 assists, Thompson, 26 PTS. Game 3, 1-2-3-1-1-9, add 29 PTS, 15 boards, Ryan Anderson 26 PTS, 5 boards, Tyreke Evans 19-8, Jrue Holiday 10 PTS, Curry 40 PTS, 9 assists, Thompson 28 PTS, 6 boards, Game 4, 109-98, add 36 PTS, 11 boards, Gordon 25 PTS, 5 assists, Anderson 10 PTS, 6 boards, 4 assists, Curry 39 PTS, 9 assists, 8 boards, Thompson 25 PTS, 3 assists, Draymond Green 22 PTS, 10 boards, 8 assists. Back in 2015, Steph Curry played like the MVP that he was that season in the first round against New Orleans. Moving to the present, Curry is questionable for Game 1, and it is not known for certain which game he will return. The last time he sprained the MCL in his knee was the 2016 playoffs, and he did not play at his normal level for the remainder of that postseason. Based on that history, I don't expect him to be close to 100% in these playoffs. I'll be watching closely to see if Curry is able to drive and finish with contact under the basket. If he is, that will be a good sign. Chris and Viggy have gone over the matchups, and I agree that there are serious problems for the Warriors due to the Pelicans' ability to spread the floor with Mirotic and their guards' ability to disrupt the Warriors' defense with their penetration. Davis will get plenty of buckets off alley-oops, post-ups, and offensive rebounds. The problem is multiplied by his ability to play out to the three-point line. JaVale McGee is the Warriors' best option on defense inside because he's long and can disrupt all the entry passes and alley-oops that so often get thrown AD's way. However, McGee will have problems with 1, AD on the perimeter, 2, the pick and roll, and 3, helping on guard penetration. Kevin Looney is better in those areas because he makes better decisions and responds rather than reacts. But he will be physically overmatched by AD in the low block over the long run. There is no good solution for AD, but Davis, Looney, and West will get to take turns offering resistance. If the Warriors have no answers for AD, the Pels have none for Kevin Durant. With the return of Curry, KD can go back to playing off the ball and scoring in the flow, and the Warriors play better when that happens. KD is also a long mobile defender who should be able to neutralize Mirotic over long stretches of the game. The Pelicans are going to play the hand that got them to the second round: gritty defense, smart offense with a guard penetration, driving on kicking, and driving and feeding to Davis when help comes. The Warriors need to come out aggressively on defense like they did in Game 1 of the Spurs series. They are best when their defense leads their offense, and in this series they can't afford to take their foot off the accelerator. Keep the pace brisk so that they can get as many layups and open looks at the three-point line as possible. The Pelicans were able to neutralize the Trailblazers' offense, and so I don't expect baskets to come easy for the Warriors either. But if the Warriors can match the Pelicans' intensity and commitment on defense, they will be able to put together some runs. The Warriors were able to ratchet it up a notch against the Spurs, but they still don't have the air of invincibility that they had last season. Of course, missing are going to beat the Pelicans, who are playing as good basketball as any team in the postseason tournament. Enjoy the Avengers: Infinity War in Round 2, and as always, drop your thoughts below.